I'm Adidaya Perkovich. I'm a freshman in the College of Arts and Sciences, planning to major in music and Africana studies.
My name is Sarah Ruwan. I'm currently a senior at Cornell University. I'm studying industrial and labor relations.
Hi, my name is Shelby and I just graduated 2 weeks ago, so I'm officially an alumni, and I was in Dr. Richardson's Beyoncé course.
I love Beyoncé. I've loved Beyoncé since I was a child. I've loved her proteges, Chloe and Halle. She's been a huge inspiration for me as a musician as well. And then when I saw that we'd be doing more of an intellectual analysis of her work and of her significance in popular culture and what larger significance she has, both politically, culturally, socially, and how her art really influences those kind of movements. I hadn't really seen any other class like that, and as a musician and someone who looks to artists for inspiration, I thought that kind of delving into a pop culture icon in that intellectual way and seeing all of the resources that were on the syllabus in the ways that we would be doing that was really intriguing.
I think the reason was really twofold. I am a second semester senior, so I could really start checking off those bucket list items. I really wanted to take a class with that Africana Research and Studies Center. I feel like it's a great resource. And honestly, who doesn't love Beyonce? I thought it was very engaging and interesting.
So I was in African American short stories with Dr. Richardson my freshman year, and we read stories by Charles Chestnut and by Paul Laurence Dunbar, and we talked about race and race in America and how it impacted us and our experiences with race. And one day for class, Dr. Knowles was just sitting at the table like he was just another student. We also got to speak to Dr. Matthew Knowles about topics that were frustrating him. And so I would say that initial conversation and that initial class that I had was what prompted me to take this Beyoncé Nation course my senior year. And I also really want to take another class with Dr. Richardson before I graduated. So those were the two big reasons.
I think that kind of having the inside look of Matthew Knowles' book was one of the sources that I found really interesting looking at the class because, that's the family perspective, but also the business perspective. Another source that really stuck out to me was Why Solange Matters. I think that's actually been my favorite book that we've read so far. Just kind of seeing another musician, but also a music critic, kind of talking about what spoke to her both personally and professionally in Solange's work and in how she approaches her artistry, and the fact that Solange is such a trailblazer and how that complements what Beyoncé has done and how she has been a pioneer was also a really interesting look that I didn't expect.
I really enjoyed the discography we'd go through at the beginning of the class. I'm sure you know. I really enjoy just really listening to her music. I feel like that's how a lot of us got our start to understanding Beyonce, so it was a really great way to root the course. And I did enjoy the more dense theory we had as well. Coming from ILR, we do talk about racialized labor. So we engage a little bit with the critical race and critical gender studies, and it was really great to be able to kind of bring it back full circle from a different perspective.
We always started off the class with discography. And it's really interesting because I remember watching these Beyonce's videos on Vivo when I was in middle school, high school. And so just being able to watch it again and come at it with a different perspective and analyze it with my peers and my classmates and get a different take and a different perspective that on a video I've probably watched 10 times. That was really interesting, and I loved doing that. I also really liked how we were able to dig deeper into Beyonce's family members like Jay-Z and Dr. Knowles and Solange. Because of the pandemic and because of COVID, they weren't in person. The visit was my freshman year, but I actually think that's why we're probably able to host Dr. Knowles a lot more this year because of Zoom and virtual classrooms. And so, he actually visited and spoke to our class, I would say about like 4 to 6 times. I really appreciated getting the learning material, like reading his book, and then getting to ask him questions directly and get answers from him directly. In most classes, you don't get that experience. I also really appreciated his advice. I feel like every single class, it was not only about Beyoncé, but just life advice for students like myself entering the real world, and how to market yourself and how to think differently than the other people you're in the room with.
She's so genuine, and her passion for what she's teaching comes through in every lecture, I'd say, and then also the personal experiences that she brings to our understanding of the lecture. Hearing her sorority sisterhood experiences and kind of how she felt that Beyoncé reflected that in her Coachella performances. And just overall the depth of knowledge that she has about Beyoncé's career.
It's been amazing having Dr. Richardson as a professor. I'm so grateful I was able to have her again this semester before I graduated. Like I said, the biggest reason I wanted to take this Beyoncé class was because Dr. Richardson was teaching it. She is brilliant in the way that she makes her students think critically, and I love how we can be in a class and talk about so many different topics, and none of the topics were planned, but we could go one way and keep going, and how she just makes us think critically and challenge the status quo. And so I appreciated having Dr. Richardson within my final semester as a teacher.